Leaving your own country to go and settle someplace new is never easy. But add to that equation moving as a spouse with your partner to a new country. How does one uproot themselves and find work in a new place and start life anew? We are going to talk about all of that in today's episode of the Decoding Diaspora podcast. And I have the pleasure of speaking to Nora Sørensen, who is taking LinkedIn in Denmark by storm.
Watch out.
So, Nora, this is great that we are getting a moment to grab coffee here.
Yes, definitely.
This January afternoon. What brings you to Denmark? I mean, besides the fact that you moved with your partner, why Denmark?
Oh, well, it's definitely not the weather, that's for sure. Or the taxes.
Yeah.
But it was a family decision for us to move after 23 years of living in London. My husband is Dane, and Denmark is not foreign to us, to all of us. And we have our daughter who is now 17 years old.
Yeah.
And there were several reasons. Actually, one of the most important was to have one last adventure with our daughter in a new society before she flies away and does her own adventure. We wanted to try living in Denmark. I missed a bit of the smaller town compared to London. Copenhagen is so small and nice. I'm in the period of my life where I like community. I always like community, but I found London is really hard because people come and go all the time. So I thought in my next period, in my next half life, if I'm fortunate, I would love to actually meet people for longer time.
Okay.
And I thought Copenhagen, it's international enough because I do love international people. I can't see myself living in North Jutland, but I could definitely see myself in Copenhagen. Nothing wrong. My husband is from there, love them to bits, nothing wrong with it.
North Jutland.
Yes. But I love the international life and diaspora, and Copenhagen ticked many boxes for us.
Okay, so Nora, you also grew up in a lot of places and you moved several times. Please take us through that. Where were you born and what has been this global upbringing like?
To keep it short, I remember myself being 5-year-old, pretending to leave home with my grandmother.
Okay.
I would say, Grandma, I'm leaving into the wild, big world. I'm done with
So you
this.
wanted to leave already as a 5-year-old young
I have
lady.
distinct memories of her pretending to go, don't go, Nora, stay.
Oh, it was a play.
It was a play,
act.
but I walked all the way to the bridge, which was for me when you step out of the comfort
And
of
this
your
was
family.
in Romania?
Yes, this was in
Where
Romania.
in Romania?
North of Romania, very close to the Ukrainian border and Hungarian border.
Yeah.
I'm half Hungarian, half Romanian, so I have these two cultures mingled inside me, which not necessarily get along at times. So that was one of the other reasons of leaving home when I was 23. Besides that, at 5, I had very strong instinct, I need to leave this place. I don't know for why. But once I got the chance, I left and I didn't go back. But I didn't feel a strong national pull to stay at home.
You didn't feel?
I didn't feel that.
Right.
I always felt like nationality is very limited idea upon us. Generally, I feel like it's a part of us, but not everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be defined of it.
By your nationality.
By the nationality.
Or by national border.
Yes.
So did you grow up speaking 2 languages?
Yes.
So you are fluent in Romanian and Hungarian?
Yes.
Incredible. Yes. And you picked up English through school?
Yes, I picked up in school, but actually when I moved to London, that's when I really immersed myself. But first I learned Italian.
Okay.
Because I worked in an Italian restaurant and they didn't speak any.
And were you fluent in Italian as well?
Yes.
Incredible, yeah.
Well, life throws you into all sorts of stuff. And it's also Romanian and Italian, it's a Latin language, so it's easy for us to get it. It wasn't difficult, and I loved being in center of London and learning actually Italian. I find that so exotic. And then learning English, of course.
You got the chance to leave home, which you were pining to do for many years.
Yes.
That moment came at age 23, you mentioned.
Yes.
And then what brought you to London?
Well, it was hard then to reach London, actually. You needed a visa. But London was also the language. Though I didn't know the best English then, it was enough for me. And the books, the literature, the art, that was the fascination. And that it was big. Anonymity offered 10 million people. No one cares that I'm half Romanian, half
Absolutely,
Romanian.
I totally get that feeling.
Yes, that's the place for me. So I feel like 23 years in Romania was like my childhood. I was raised, but then in London, this is where I matured. It really shaped me. It gave me both fun, but also a lot of time to discover myself, to play around. So I tried all sorts of stuff.
Good on you.
Yes.
Why not?
Why not?
That's what you do in your 20s.
Yes.
We learn, we experiment, and there's learning along the way of trying new things, which is possibly not possible in our place of origin, because it's about being the good person, the good girl, living within certain norms, and also somebody is watching and keeping tabs on you. But the freedom you get being elsewhere.
I totally recommend it to everyone to just leave their home and culture. You see it differently. You can come back and do all sorts of stuff, but you understand yourself from a different light. Yourself and your culture that you come from.
Well said. You understand yourself and your culture better when you step away from your place of origin. Quotable quotes right here coming from Nora Sørensen. So Nora, now you're Sørensen.
Yes.
That's very Danish. Danish man happened along the way. Tell us more into that. And now you are in Denmark. So what's going on there?
Danish man, of course, London.
You met him there?
I met him there. He was living above the restaurant where I worked.
Okay.
And we were very good friends.
The Italian restaurant where you worked?
Yes. So
it was written in the cards and in the stars.
Which actually my mom thinks it's all because of her. My name, Nora, comes from Ibsen's book, Doll's House. She loved that book and she called me Nora. And she says, oh, that's why you married a Scandinavian.
So there was a Scandinavian connection.
It was already there in the stars.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is very uncanny because I often mention, in recent times, I've mentioned how I learned after being so many years in Denmark that I actually have 7% Scandinavian genes. That means there is someone in my, ancestry who is probably Danish, Scandinavian.
Yes.
Not very far back.
Yeah.
For me to have 7% Scandinavian gene, I don't know who that is, but that's a project to be undertaken to go back in time and figure out.
Definitely.
And it's like when you have this connection, you come back to the land. I find that so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's pulling you back. There must be
something.
Something.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting how we are linked.
Totally.
What goes on, yeah.
So you found your partner in London.
Yes.
And then you lived on in London for many years.
Yes. We loved London. London is still home to us.
So you have been in Denmark, having relocated, it's been around a year now?
Yeah.
Can we say that you're new to Denmark still?
Yes.
But you have been visiting Denmark because of your Danish husband previously, right? So you were familiar with the country.
Yeah, it wasn't completely new.
Not completely new.
And I thought I knew everything.
In your view, what kind of skill set do you think you acquired because you were moving and you were open to moving? For instance, in my case, somebody told me, Ruby, you are very good at handling transitions. I thought that was one of the most genuine and beautiful compliments one could get. I said, wow, that's a beautiful way to put it. I never thought of it like that. But one becomes more agile, I would say. That's a muscle I developed. That, okay, whatever life is bringing, I do this, different place, different situation. So in your view, I'm sure you have also become more agile with time, but are you conscious of other things that moving made of you?
Yes, definitely. Besides this agility that I can definitely recognize, transition and change, it's a muscle that we
Yeah, it's a muscle we train.
that there is change and we'll need to adapt, learn new things, and it gets sticky at one point and frustrating, but it's just a phase, so you plow through. So you had these experiences and you kind of, I'm not saying that embracing all the challenges, but you kind of go like, yes, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. For me, as a kid, I problem solved since I was a kid. I had that muscle that I'll solve things. Throw me in the deep end, I'll figure it out. But what moving actually did to me the most is that I kept being curious about life. It's not boring. I can find even riding on a bus in Copenhagen something fascinating to be exploring.
Yeah.
And it opened my eye that I don't know much.
No.
Actually, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And probably I'll learn until I die.
Yeah, very well said. Actually, you know, one cannot be a migrant, a willful migrant, without having curiosity and adaptability.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love that you find joy and beauty in even taking a bus in Copenhagen. That just shows the innocence that you've still managed to retain in you. And that's just so beautiful, because if everything was blasé and if everything was no big deal, then life would be just so dull and uninspiring. But you are finding those little things worthwhile as well.
That keeps me sane. I like that, to keep being curious.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yeah.
First, curious. Don't assume. And this is what I can. Don't ask.
Learn.
Or it's not that I do it all the time. I'm whole human too. Of course, I go with.
But those are the things that really are more pronounced as a person who's moving and is a migrant. You know, the adaptability, the curiosity, the willingness to move. You know, these are traits that are more pronounced, which I can totally understand.
You understand
relate
it and
to.
relate.
Yes.
And I wish it could be more on the CV.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, it's the skill that only when you leave your own country, you actually learn that.
Yeah.
And no matter, you can move village and whatever, it's perhaps not the same. Yeah. I always think, how do I express that in a CV?
Yeah.
Which I find very limiting at this day and age.
That brings me to the interesting next topic. Now we've covered the social aspect of moving, and you mentioned CV. Now, you are starting life in a new place, also professionally.
Yes.
As a trailing spouse, to find work in Denmark is widely known fact is not easy. What has your personal experience been so far? You have data points from a year or so. This is a new chapter in your professional life in a new place. What are you looking to do now in this new chapter? What is on the wish list?
That's such a good question. The wish list has changed since a year ago.
Okay.
I came with ideas and plans. I'm an event planner, so can't help myself.
Right.
And I thought, I'll have it all figured out. I will start my professional life in Denmark. It ticks all my boxes, the life and work balance and all of that. I wanted to experience it all.
Yeah.
And be in the Danish society, paying taxes and be completely immersed. And I thought, it'll be okay, because it's Copenhagen and I'm married to a Dane and it's not foreign to me. And it appeals to me, the straightforwardness of Scandinavian culture. It's like music to my heart. I love that. I thought, I'll have it all figured out. Well, of course, life is different and the plan changes as soon as you are in contact with reality. Yeah. So last year, it's been always like this. I have an idea, I get it into reality and action, and then reality goes back, no, not this. So I am tracing back and going, okay, so I'm learning what is expected of me a lot. What are the rules? There are specific rules when you apply for jobs for Danes and non-Danes.
Okay.
I think this is a big controversial, and I know it touches upon many things, but
we have to unpack all of that. You will feel after a year here that there are two sets of rules for a Danish applicant and an international applicant. Does that hold true for specific fields or roles, or is it true overarchingly in your observation?
It depends on the field. For example, I have people who've been hired from Spain because their CV ticked all the boxes. They don't mind where you're from. Do you know Danish or not? It's okay because it's a highly specialized job and they needed that. If your profession is that, you'll be picked up. Of course, you're needed. We need that skill. We will have. But if your skills are competing with the locals on the same level, then it's naturally they will pick someone that they know. Trust, as we know, in Denmark is important.
Yes, of course.
And I believe trust is fantastic. But it has this other side. If we only trust our own, then it comes with, what does it say about the other?
This is very fascinating, and I have never considered it like this. So you think that one of the challenges that is facing an international applicant who is in competition with a local candidate is the currency of trust and how to gain that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I love that they trust Danes. I wish Romanians would do the same. So I wish my own culture would do the same.
Romanians would trust Romanians?
Yes.
And that would reflect well on the Romanian employment scene?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But we are more skeptical on that. And I love the Danes trust each other, but it comes with this.
Yeah.
Everything has a downside. There is no perfect, and it's still a challenge to be discovered how it's going to work out in society. But for me, it's mostly to realize that's okay. This is who they trust, each other. So I'll have to work for that trust. I'll have to earn that trust.
Right.
And I might have to jump through many more loops than another day. But that's okay. I think it's best to know that that's how it is than to go like it's not. I accepted that. I might not agree with it, but I accepted it.
How did this realization dawn on you? Did somebody tell you that this is a currency that matters? Danes will be preferred because they are trusted more. Is this something you deduced out of your own experiences? This is a pretty insightful thing that you're sharing with us, and it's not something I have ever thought about.
Well, I think it's both my personal experience, but also hearing from Danes. We have very good friends in Denmark and family members, and they agree that the system is not opening up towards diaspora on the job market as it should be. That is tough.
And why? Because of trust factor? And what is it that they don't trust?
I think because they only trust what they know.
Yeah.
And we bring something unknown into the equation.
Yeah.
And they go, but do you really get us? Do you really get that we really like Brie Salaman and dancing around the tree and all of that?
Yeah.
They are such a beautiful system they created that works for majority of Danes. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm in awe to it. They are a bit protective of that. I would too. It's like you created something really working well for 5 million people. So it's not perfect, but by comparison to other countries, it is.
So what you are saying, if I'm understanding it correctly, Danes would like to know that if you are an international from Romania or India or wherever, can you fit into our way of doing things? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Can you be one of us and our usual ways?
Yeah.
So it is not so much about language. The most popular conception is if you don't speak the language, the job market is obviously, you're at the periphery of it and it's very difficult to crack in. But you are saying you need to be a part of operations and be an insider.
Yes.
So are they wondering if an international can embrace things or not?
Yes, that they can embrace their values and not shake it too much.
Okay.
Because it's good set of values.
I would love
really
to get
good.
a Dane to reflect on what you're sharing right now. Yeah,
I can understand the side of when we come with a different kind of energy and different kind of attitudes and values. So of course there is a bit of friction.
Yeah.
And this friction has to be negotiated. Like I am myself, I came with, and it's still like me. I do me.
Yeah.
I can't do anything else than Nora.
Yeah.
And everyone else does them.
Yes.
And we meet somewhere. But again, it comes back to curiosity. It's for me, I am curious enough to go, why you feel like I will rock the system. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's unpack this. It's a bit sticky, it's a bit uncomfortable. Okay, let's start. I think there is a lot to be learned from this situation.
Sure.
And I feel it's better to see it as it is than to go, why it is like this.
Right. You are actually embracing, if this is supposed to be a challenge, you're embracing the challenge.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, this system sucks. The way of being is not okay.
And constantly be frustrated or bitter about it. I think systems are really tough to change.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't like them to be changed every time someone comes. We would like them to be a bit more robust, even if it's for good. That's what systems are a bit sticky and robust.
Right. So now that have you been looking for work actively?
Yes. I did last year, pretty much. Not the whole year, but yes, I did.
And how did you go about looking for work? Nora, you are fairly well known on the platform LinkedIn in Denmark because many of your posts, A, you post actively, and B, your posts have resonated with a lot of people. So your posts have been shared a lot and have been commented on a lot. So what are the mechanisms by which you have been looking for work? And what role has LinkedIn played in that search so far?
LinkedIn is a new thing for me as well. I didn't do anything until I moved on LinkedIn. Literally, it was like 20 people I had on LinkedIn before moving in 2024. But I knew that LinkedIn is very active, alive in Denmark, and the professionals hang out there. So I posted personal stuff, not so much on the professional side. It was mostly what I do, how I try things. I think that post got a bit viral because I was rejected because I was overqualified. And it resonated with lots of people because lots of people got that. Like, oh, you can't do this because you're too many degrees.
It's apparently a
common
experience that you are rejected because you're overqualified for a certain position in Denmark. And it is happening to both Danes and internationals. There was a lot of Danes responding to it as well.
And also other people from other countries. So it's very common. It's not just... Now I have been linked to people from Ethiopia as a result of this. This was with lots of people.
As far as Ethiopia.
Yes, which is, I love LinkedIn for that. So it resonated, but it also was an interesting process for me. I need to learn the rules. I never applied for a job in my entire life until last year. Every job I got was from people going, can you do that? And I did it.
Right. And so the jobs came to you?
To me, yes.
Instead of you seeking for them previously. And a long time you were also an independent event creator.
So I didn't have this skill. Maybe it is a skill to apply. I'm learning a new thing.
Right.
CV, resumes, skills, got people to help me, got advice, but there is so much advice and it's so confusing. Personalize it, no, don't personalize it, apply, don't apply,
photo,
do the
no photo, sex, date of birth, yes, no.
It's so confusing. So I decided to do me. Because what else can I do? So it has to reflect me, so it reflects me. But I also realized after applying not too many jobs, I didn't do the crazy stuff of 10 jobs per week, that this is not going to work. This is just one step in the scheme. So networking, it's the thing. And since I'm a bit of an extrovert and I like talking to people and I'm curious and I'm in events, this came naturally to me to just immerse myself into networking. And I gave it a try and I still do it. That doesn't mean just the events that you go and network. It's network on LinkedIn and going, I like what you do. Can we meet and have a chat and not expect much back?
Right.
For me, it was always like, it's not going to happen just me knocking at the door and going like, I need a job. Can you get it to me? In my experience, 47 on this planet, it's a good skill to have when you need to break down that wall.
You don't have any qualms or hesitation in knocking on doors?
No. But my way of living is always to find a crack on that door. You close the door, but I'll find a way to go past it.
The classic migrant resilience is what I call it.
We will find a way.
Yeah.
You know, we will, and that's why I think we are so creative. You throw us in
Creative.
a thing very creative. Problems don't phase us. It's like, oh, okay, I'll find it. I'll find it as a challenge. So for me, the job market in Denmark, it's not a game, it's serious, but I play with it. I go like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's such a great energy.
What does it work?
Yeah.
Does this work? Ah, no, this doesn't work. Okay, so what else can work? What else do I learn about me or them or us? I try to keep really playful at this moment and don't obsess too much. I am fortunate. I should mention, I am fortunate. My husband has a good job and we came with a job fixed, and we are also very mindful to prioritize our money.
Yeah.
So we know.
So you are socially secure because
Yes.
there is one income coming in,
Yeah.
and you're mindful with your expenses.
Yes.
So you have the flexibility to be playful around your job
Yes.
search. Being playful, it is a privilege, but it's also such a positive attitude. Not if you are just really clenching your teeth and just like, I have to find a job today. It's way more stressful, and some people have to be in that position, unfortunately. But if you can step back and also breathe at the same time and say, no, I'm going to try this and something's going to work out. And I wish more people could do this because it's such a positive space to be in rather than the bitter, frustrated corner.
It's
for
tough.
sure. It is
and
tough.
I have friends and people that I know that they are in that corner.
I know a lot of South Asians right now who are in that corner because there is just a paucity of work opportunities in Denmark, even though Denmark needs so many roles to be filled. People are without jobs. Internationals, to be specific, are without jobs. And it's important to crack why is that and how to bridge that gap.
Yeah. So it's easy. So yes, I am privileged, but also I would say it takes a while.
It takes a while.
It takes a while. If this is what I would love to know before moving. It's not going to happen automatically from one month to the other, necessarily. In some cases, it might. But I also find that you need to have a bit of space. If you're lucky enough to have a spouse that has a job, then allow yourself a bit of time.
So this is probably one of the greatest pieces of advice that comes from you, is that if you are moving as a spouse, looking to restart your career here, adjust your expectations that it will not happen overnight. You will be on one source of income, which is your spouse's, and it's good to make sure that you have at least that one source of income and come with that padding and protection. Otherwise, you are spreading yourself thin.
And it is stressful. And then when we take decisions from a really corner stressful, I always feel like they are not necessarily the best ones in the long run.
Yeah.
And also the second piece of advice, it would be go where you're loved and needed. Find that community that you thrive in. It could be a professional community, it could be something that you love to do. Is it sports or art? Find that. Or is it you thrive in an international community? Find them. It could be a religious thing, it's a spiritual calling that you have. Find those. Those are the people that will help you. And yes, ask for help. We don't need to do it all ourselves.
So beautifully put.
Really, we don't.
So find your calling and your tribe, which will help you navigate this tough time, and ask for help.
Ask. This is one thing that Danish culture, I'm learning so much. What I learned, they're extremely independent and able people. You see, especially women. I love them.
Yeah, it's just they're go-getters. There is no waiting for no man. There's no waiting for no one. Just go bloody do it.
It's so lovely. The energy. So I love that. It is inspiring. If nothing works, you ask for help. And you need to, because the system is there to help you, but it's not going to lean towards you.
There are a lot of people who are not asking for help till they are completely underwater. You know, we have seen those posts on LinkedIn where they say, I am on my last 3 weeks on this visa, I need help, please help me. Or I'm completely out of funds and sources, please help me. Or, it's really affecting my mental health, it's been over, year or two, please help me. But why wait so late?
Yes. And why wait?
Because
Don't.
one needs to ask for help. So unlike the Danish woman who was probably hesitate and let your pride not come in the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, no pride, and we all actually have in the beginning.
Yeah.
Someone always helps us.
Yeah.
And moving country, it's like lifting a Boeing off the ground. It's tough, so you put and it's not going to be always like that. It's just this period.
A Boeing off the ground. It's a big
Engines,
one. Yeah.
The wings are like, you know, when you're on the airport and you're like taking off, you feel like, oh gosh, we will ever go off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it feels like that. You need all the support, your internal curiosity, ability, strength. Oh, that's another very good advice I got from a friend from Mexico. He's moving to Sweden. Anyway, he said, play to your strength. Yes, you learn new skills, but remember your strength. So I was like, what is my strength? Apply it on everything, not just at work, like in anything, because that's where you shine and people see you. If we are just aligned a bit more with ourselves, with our strength, aware of our own shadow bits as well, people see us.
Your strength, just for an example that you have been applying and playing into is?
Oh, my strength is that I'm curious about people.
Curious about people. That's a big one. Yeah. So you are inherently interested in people.
Yeah.
And working with people. That's beautiful. Yeah.
So for me, that's my strength.
Yeah.
I'm very motherly and hospitable. I talk to people like I know them for 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, even if we just met.
Yeah. The warmth and caring is unmistakable. And that is a strength. The question is, how do we translate it into a professional setting? And if you're an event creator, those are great strengths because you want your team and audience to feel comfortable.
It's not always evident in society that we need this warmth and feminine
qualities.
Especially
when we use the word hustle. Men and women, everybody's hustling, but it gives it a very rough sound to it.
Yes.
You know, there are gentle, caring, compassionate ways of hustling as well.
Yeah. That's the motherly in me. I can't help myself.
Yeah. That's so fascinating. See, there are a lot of mothers in their 40s, 50s who have been mothers for a good 15, 20 years. And that's what they have excelled at, right? And they have to now collect themselves, all their learnings and skill set of being a very capable and successful mother and reinvent their careers and their purpose in life in this 40-50 spectrum, right? And one often wonders, who am I? What am I going to do now? My child is leaving the nest. An example that comes to mind is Zarna Garg. She's an Indian-American comic, someone I follow quite a bit. It was so hard for her to start off as a mid-40-something. Like, you know, I'm all overburdened and consumed in my home, family life as a mother. How do I take this pot of knowledge and experience and do something with it? And so she turned to be a comic and a very successful one at that.
Yeah.
And so when you say that it's not something that is noticed...
No, it's not.
I mean, women being mothers have so much to offer. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. We could talk hours on that as well.
Yes, because it's
so I think you know, employers,
it's a challenge.
Yeah, employers need to make room for mothers re-entering workforce.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You tell me a mother who has 3 kids on different ages and how it handles conflict.
Yeah.
You want that woman as a leader on the board.
Yeah.
Because she will spot out all the bullshit, navigate sensitivities, focus on the goal and not be sidetracked by noise. Motherhood is still not something that we all love and we praise, but they are not...
We don't say yes, it's a skill set that can be monetized.
Yes, and I think it can. It's a shame.
It should be monetized.
It should be
It
monetized.
can be monetized.
And it can be monetized.
As in, you not being paid to be a mother, but the skill set that you have learned. And that's why being a mother should be on the CV, and there should be more respect for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like a shame, like I've been a mother and I raised 3 kids. Oh, that doesn't look good on my CV.
Yeah, there's a big gap.
Yes.
Yeah, from professional work. Yeah.
So it's a lot of us educating also the professional world.
Yes.
So we have work to be done with ourselves to accept and embrace that qualities, but also go out and say, yes, I am motherly in my approach, and I know this and that, and this is going to be useful for you. It might not feel like it, but it is. But it's a long way.
But you know, today we talk about it. In 5-10 years, it becomes real.
Yes. But our kids are watching us,
and their generation probably will not have to fight these battles because we are fighting these battles, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hopefully.
So now, talking about community, LinkedIn has brought you a community, as a sense of community as well.
Yes.
Please share your insights, because I have also used, we all use LinkedIn very actively in Denmark. It has yielded different results for different people. What has been your experience of being on LinkedIn?
Well, LinkedIn is my second home, as I call it. It's not my summer home, but it is my second home. Sometimes my husband goes like, where are you? I'm like, no, on LinkedIn, I love researching people, finding out. I read the long text. I check people out. I put an effort. So it's not just scrolling through. Actually, you do the work. I'm curious, and I know I need to find my tribe, and I'm finding it on LinkedIn. I try to help. The first thing is that I want to help. So now I have a notebook where I have people that, like on HR or on IT or project management, they're looking for jobs, and I keep an eye. Just, we never met. We never had a coffee yet, but I know you from LinkedIn. I know it's hard. And I spend a lot of time there. Maybe I'll see something. It's okay if it doesn't do anything, but it feels like I'm giving something to the community.
Beautiful.
Not just take away. Not just go, I'm looking for something, can you help me?
Yeah.
I'm also helping. And I think that's when LinkedIn really works. When it's a two-way street.
Right.
And also what works is that you show up as you are, with your own tone of voice. If you like video, you do video. You like long text, you do that. There is no magic trick. You just be you. It's hard at the beginning because you think, how will I be perceived? But it's fine. No one really knows you. That's another thing. Really, no one knows me.
Nobody probably cares as much as we think and overthink it.
I can do mistakes. I can sound idiotic and bubble on. It's okay. But people who stick around, they stick because you're yourself.
Yes.
And they trust.
And that authenticity matters.
Yeah, that authenticity matters.
Right.
So don't try to copy anyone else. Everyone does its own thing. There is no magic to it. Just show up, say, I'm here, it's awkward, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time. Give me some feedback.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then work on that and build.
And that has helped you build relationships that have led to opportunities as well.
Yes, it does lead to opportunities. And that's why freelancing comes into work, because while I was applying to jobs, those doors were not opening, but the window towards freelancing was opening.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, if it comes naturally to me, people come like, can you do this?
Yes.
I was like, this sounds so familiar to me.
Yeah.
Can you do this? I
Great.
was like, I used to do this. So maybe this is how I go through life. Not force too much on the doors. And you never know.
Yeah.
It might appear that job.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. You'll find out.
Wonderful.
But right now I'm exploring freelancing. And this network has helped me immensely, because Copenhagen is still small, and the way things are going with the amount of people that I talk to, I feel like at one point I will know, not everyone, a lot of people in events, speaker, facilitators, venues, project managers, videographers, all of this. And I'm starting to get my own kind of tribe and people that I like to work with.
Which is such a big asset to have and to gain in such a short period. So LinkedIn has definitely worked for you, because you've also invested time and your own, you have supported people along the way. So that's tremendous.
It doesn't matter that they don't come back to you.
Yeah.
It's not the same person from other corners.
Yeah.
And I liked it's the mysterious way of life that is coming through LinkedIn.
And something I truly admire is that you did not do LinkedIn before coming to Denmark a year ago. It's a platform that you have allowed yourself to learn, to practice, to invest time on, to gain from, to give.
Yes.
It's also a new way of being for you professionally.
Definitely.
And you have totally taken it with open arms.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
I have to say that before I was doing a lot of content on Instagram, which helped me to be kind of okay on camera.
Right.
And
so you overcame any hesitation of putting yourself out there.
I used to write a newsletter for 4 years. So I am used to writing content that sharpened, and I moved it to Substack and other things. When I came to LinkedIn, it was easier in some ways.
Right.
Going, it's okay that I don't sound properly or my grammar is not perfect.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Because people are looking for the real you and not the perfectly written piece of copy. Yeah.
Do you know what drives me crazy the mostly? It's grammar. When it starts correcting my... I love it when it's like really bad. Like, okay, I'm not spelling out the word, but how I sound? No, don't change how I sound. This is how I sound.
But who's picking on it anyway?
Oh, who's speaking like...
No, who's picking on it? Who's criticizing?
No one. But Grammarly comes and goes...
Grammarly
is coming on and go like no,
don't change my way of writing.
Goodness.
I get it.
I'm almost ready to go, no, I don't need Grammarly. Now, I'll do mistakes, but
Wonderful. Now you have taken on this second phase of life that you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself growing old, Nora? Is there a plan? Is there some visuals, visions for the future?
Of course,
yes. Where do you see yourself?
Hopefully, you'll be in my life.
Yes, I would like that.
Doing our yoga, stretches, having nice coffee,
I like the sound of that.
Maybe dance a bit, do some handwork.
But would that be in Denmark?
It would be in Denmark.
Danes and internationals in Denmark, please. This is an open call of intent saying Nora wants to be here.
Oh yes,
so the
definitely.
Universe just
there is no plan B. I threw everything in it.
Right.
We had a choice of going, should we try it?
Yeah, because a lot of internationals are living in a tentative space of, I don't know how long I want to be in Denmark, how long I want to be anywhere. So when you're a migrant, sometimes the uncertainty kind of defines every choice. But it helps to have some variables that are not entirely variables but are, fixed. So in your case, at least you're working with that element that you want to be here.
Yes, definitely.
That kind of allows for some decision making.
Definitely.
Long term.
I want to grow old. I think here for elderly generation, they have a fantastic life.
Right.
I always admire these ladies who are all with the pink lipstick, ready to go.
I have always said that young and old have a life. I really hope that for the very old, the social security system continues to be robust and well taken care of with the taxes that we pay.
Yes.
Because lack of manpower is a challenge. We have to secure our institutions of the welfare system.
Definitely.
And lastly, there is so much to talk about, but in the interest of how long this podcast gets, have you ever thought about where you belong and how you identify yourself?
It's a strange thing with belonging. I belong everywhere. First up, wherever I go, I feel at home. It's a thing that, because I try to get it out of the national identity or borders, countries. But I'm on this planet, on this universe.
Yeah.
I'm here. Of course I'm home.
So you are not defining yourself by those national boundaries at all? No.
I think it's then
of
it's
course
tricky.
I'm home. I'm here, so I'm home. I'm home in all these places.
Do you know when I learned this? I didn't know for sure until we moved to Hawaii for 4 months in Oahu, Honolulu. You would think it's paradise to live there, no?
Yeah.
It's paradise. Indeed, it's so beautiful and so nice but I was worried. I didn't go there with like, this will be just fun, because how do you meet the locals? It's full of tourists, and the locals work and they drive, they don't walk. Literally, I would walk through and not see anyone. Everyone is in the car or somewhere. But
so how do you meet the real people? Yeah.
So I was really challenged, but thank God for old-fashioned ways of going across the road and knocking to someone's house and say, I am here. I have a kid. You have 3 kids, and one of them is the same age like mine. We just moved. Do you mind having a coffee? We met the most fantastic family that we still keep in touch. Absolutely gorgeous souls. And through them, another family. And we suddenly had a community. In just 4 months, I got to meet people that are to my liking, and we keep in touch to this day. And and then I said, if I can make it in Honolulu, I can make it anywhere. I was like, yes, I can. It's not rocket science. It's literally you go and knock at the door and say, I'm here.
And that's the little thing of human connection, of wanting to reach out. Probably something that a lot of people are not comfortable with because they're not open. I think that is the trait that distinguishes migrants from non-migrants. The willingness to go somewhere, and then willingness to learn a different culture and people, where the curiosity comes in, and the agility to adapt. Great. So with the humility, the curiosity, flexibility, agility, we have someone like Nora, who really represents a lot of us, a lot of migrants who are willing to see themselves at home and find themselves at home in many places and not just their country of origin.
Definitely.
So it's just been such
Happy to be on.
Heartwarming conversation, and very insightful as to what tricks you have employed to tackle moving to a new country and starting a new phase of life. As a parent, as a partner, as a trailing spouse. Enormous gratitude. Thank you for making time for this conversation. I truly hope listeners of this video podcast will get something out of learning from your experience and find some comfort as well. Let's not be bitter. Let's just be humble and happy and optimistic of what the future brings.
Definitely. It's a good start. And I hope this is the thing to keep us alive, the curiosity of what is next. We don't have it figured out, but we are curious about it.
Life is full of
surprises,
so let's look forward to that. Thank you for today, Nora. If you have been watching till the end, I truly hope you have enjoyed this episode and you would take a moment to subscribe to this channel and plug in a comment, good, bad, ugly. We would love to hear from you what your thoughts are at the end of this conversation. Till such time that I meet you again with another lovely guest, do take care of yourself. Bye-bye.